official. But we have a ton of great officials that go out and can work games with us and be a good partner, but then they can't teach others how to be good officials as well. And I think it's a strength that not a lot of people possess, to not only be able to go out and physically ref the game and mentally commit to a game, but also to be able to apply all the philosophies and effectively communicate them to a student. And I think that's something that you do extraordinarily well. So thank you. I think that not only improves the basketball game, but it improves our students and improves the PNBOA, and I think we're very fortunate to have you commit your time and talent to us. So thank you very much. Without further ado, please help me welcome Michelle Duncan.
So today I'm going to talk about pregame and postgame. So this is an interactive class, so I hope you drank a little bit of coffee today. So in this room, when do you guys think a pregame starts?
When you get your game.
When you get your game. Okay. I mean, I think that's when it starts. That's when mine starts. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I do. So I've gotten quite a few games already this year that I will work this season. And what I've already done for the year was this sheet has got the directions to all the schools I'm going to go to this year. But I'm not familiar with it. I don't know how long it's going to drive to take to get there. And along with the directions, I have the driving time for my house. And part of that is my pregame, just to be ready for the season. So I know how long it's going to take to get there, how am I going to get there. When I talk to my partners, I can talk to them intelligently. But I think it is important to realize that your pregame start when you do get your game. You are 100% correct. So when I think about pregame, my first pregame that I think about is my personal pregame. And I like to have a goal of the game, and I like to have an action item. So last night, I happened to work scrimmage. So my goal of the game was to have good clock awareness in specifically the 30-second clock, and to work where my partners were not. So those were my two goals. And if I had to rate myself on those goals, I'd say I was fair at best. My action item was to get to the spot in a hurry. So I did some film over my games last year, and I realized I was kind of slow to get to the spot, so I really wanted to work and get to the spot in a hurry with an intention. And I actually thought I reviewed the tape this morning, so I thought I did a pretty good job at that. After reviewing the tape of my game yesterday, I came up with some new things. So my next game, which is this Thursday, I think, I want to get a better lanes of vision to see. So that's my personal goal, and I want to step on the court a little bit more. See, I thought it was kind of far away. My trail positioning, I think I need to work on that. And I've got Magilla Gorilla arms. So on video, one thing you'll notice is you pick up all those little movements. So a lot of times I was doing this. So I call that Magilla Gorilla arms. So I want to stop that when I'm moving and not see that on videotape. So the point I'm making is that every game that you work, I think that you should have a pregame for yourself, and that should include a goal and an action item. So here's the interactive part. What are the advantages of having a pregame? I mean, why do we do that? Anybody?
Smoother game.
Pardon?
Smoother game.
Smoother game, okay.
Kind of to an agreement as a partnership and the game as a crew.
Okay, partnership.
How you're going to run the game.
Okay, okay. So some of the advantages I came up with was we want an opportunity to create some teamwork. Hopefully before we step on the court, we can kind of come to agreement that we're going to try to be a team. We might not always agree, but we're going to try to be a team. We're going to try to get some common ground. What do you think is a foul? What do I think is a foul? The discussion we had earlier with the group that was in here, we were talking about a new rule. And gosh, would this be a foul or wouldn't be a foul? So sometimes bringing up play situations can create some common ground. What are the tendencies? As an official, do you have some tendencies I need to know about? I mean, are there some things that you do that maybe some other people don't do? I worked with a partner, and this is years ago, but this was her ready signal. I mean, for the whole rest of the officiating world, this means don't put in the ball. But she would raise her hand when she was ready for us to put the ball. That was pretty important for us to know because we would not have known what to do. Tendencies of teams. Have you had these teams before? What do you know about them? Do we need to be on top of our game? And you also have an opportunity to learn a person's personal philosophy. So what is philosophy? Philosophies are principles followed by a referee to make judgments, decisions on an action that occurred during the game. Seems pretty easy. Each official in a three-person crew cannot referee to their own individual philosophy. Your crew must be on the same page to give the players the most consistent game possible. So I was at camp a couple weeks ago, and there was an official there, and he shared with us that he has very, very thick skin. And you know, coach can say almost anything to him, and he is not going to get upset, and probably not going to give a technical foul. That is pretty important information for me to know, because my skin is not so thick. So if he is taking a lot from the coach, and I'm taking nothing at all, we're being really inconsistent as a crew. Another place that crews tend to be inconsistent is post-play and hand checking. And what I like to tell my crews before we go out, especially if I haven't worked with them before, is, you know, Drew, we haven't worked together in a long time. Let's take a look at what each other is calling in the post and on hand checking. And if I've had 3 calls out there and you don't know what I have had, you need to get to me and ask me what I'm seeing so that we can try to be on the same page. Okay, so what are some advantages of philosophy? It's setting the tempo or the tone. The crew will set the tempo or the tone of the game with quality foul calls by following the guidelines discussed in the pregame regarding points of emphasis and court coverage. How many people here feel that the players determine what we call? There's a lot of people that do, and I would urge you to come up with your own philosophy of what is a foul and what is not a foul. What is too much hands? What is a push that is too much? Because there's lots of contact in basketball that is not a foul. And it's hard for us to be on the same page and have common philosophy if we haven't talked about what we think is a foul. But part of talking about it is determining within ourselves when it's going to be a foul and when it is just incidental contact. So, real life pregame. What do you do in the summertime? And I don't know about you guys, I've walked into a gym in the summertime and been there 5 minutes before the game time and my partner's still not there. They show up right about game time. Or do a rec ball game, same thing, and your partners don't get there. You don't really have an opportunity to have a pregame. Same thing with fall basketball. Or they just want to talk about everything they did over the summertime. Or a JV basketball game at 3:30, you know, when your partner's coming from work and walking right in. It's very tough to have a pregame in this situation because you just don't have time. And there are also officials that don't want to have a pregame. So the question becomes, how do I have a pregame if somebody doesn't want to have a pregame? So I broke down into two types of people. We have non-responsive partners and responsive partners. So a non-responsive partner is, so Drew, we got this game today, what do you think? And Drew just talks about, you know, work's been kind of tough lately. Oh, yeah, I've been out here a couple times, it's no big deal. You know, what are you going to do to engage them and find something out so that you can be successful? And the whole reason that you have a pregame is so your crew can be successful, but also so that you can be successful. So here are some of the questions that I ask to a non-responsive partner. So they don't really want to engage with me, they don't really want to talk about basketball, but normally they will respond to, hey, have you ever worked this league before? I mean, that one's a pretty easy softball question. They'll say yes or no. And then I'll ask them about special rules for the league. Those 2 questions, if they can answer them, if they say, yes, I've worked this league before, and they go, oh, well, yeah, you know, there's just regular rules, special rules. Okay, they don't really care about rules, and they're not that engaged into what's going on. So that means it's my job to hunt out and find out what the rules are, and if the rules are different, I'm probably going to be the one to enforce that. I also like to ask people how long they've been working. If I have a person who's only worked for 2 years, I know that I need to be more on top of my game than somebody who is a veteran, who's worked a long time. And how much 3-person have you worked if it's a 3-person game? You have all experienced now that you've been through this camp that a person who has a good grasp of 3-person is a little easier to work with than a person who hasn't worked very much. So it's not a bad or good thing, it's just how can I be more successful? If you haven't worked a lot of 3-person, I know I'm going to be slower to come off the baseline because we may not have caught a rotation. That is just a reality of a person who has not worked a lot of 3-person. Okay, so if I have a responsive partner, I'm probably going to talk about baseline movement. So I'm going to ask the person, you know, are you a person who rotates a lot, or do you rotate not very much? What do you do on the baseline?
As much as possible.
As much as possible, okay. So if we get to a point that we're over-rotating, we probably should talk? Okay. Suzanne, how about you on the baseline? Do you rotate a lot, rotate not very much?
I tend to over-rotate and then slow down my rotations throughout the game, depending on the play and where it's going.
Do you let the ball dictate your rotation, where the posts
I
are?
usually, I look at where the ball is and then I generally go with the post and where it's going. Because if it's just the guards over there, in fact, I wanted to bring that up later about nearing the ball because we were talking about that. But I usually know if there's two guards over there, it's probably coming back over. But then if I see the post going over, then I know the ball's staying.
Okay. So anyway, those are some questions that I'm going to ask. Cleaning up and defining areas of responsibility. So one of the things that I like to talk about in my pregame is it Scott? Is that right? So Scott, you and I are working tonight. So as the ball crosses over into your area and it's dribbling, are you quick to pick up the ball or are you slow to pick up the ball?
I'm probably going to look at you and be slow to pick up the ball.
You're going to be slow. Ryan, is that right?
Jordan.
Jordan, sorry. How about you? You slow to pick up the ball or quick to pick up the ball?
Typically quick.
Typically quick. Most people are typically quick. But it's nice to know what people answer because how they answer the question kind of tells you whether they really thought about that question or not. Yes?
I look and see if my trail's got a count on the player first, especially in boys basketball. And if they do, then I wait until, and then keep on where I'm at. And then once I see that they've stopped and it's a held ball, then I turn and give my attention to the player.
Okay. So another question I'll ask is, and I don't know your name, I'm sorry. Dwayne? Dwayne, so if you're the C and the ball's coming over into your area, is there any movement or anything that you do to let me know that you've accepted the play?
No, I guess I'm just kind of assuming.
Assume, okay. Okay, so some people open up to the play. There are some people that raise their head up, let them know. Some people put a hand out. Anyway, there's all sorts of things that people do. But it's nice to know if your partner has something that they do to let you know that, hey, I've accepted the play. Then that's something I want to know. I will always tell my partners, as soon as I see you accept the play or I think you have accepted it, I'm going to try to get off the ball really hard. So you'll see me come over as the trail. I see you accept it. You should see a movement, a strong movement away from you to let you know you better take that and keep that because I've gone someplace else. Partner communication. So how are we going to communicate tonight? Do you have any signals? Anybody in the room, if there is not very much time left on the clock, what signal do you guys use? Drew, what do you use? Point? Point. Anybody else use something besides the point? Ever see this?
What do you mean by how much time? I mean, are we
Under
under
5
minutes?
seconds?
Shot clock or the?
Which clock you have?
Either.
Shot clock, I do this.
Okay. Anybody ever see this one? It's actually this one here. I mean, the point I'm making is everybody uses some different signals, and it's nice to know what different signals people are using. So the other thing I like to know is if we have 2-on-2 in the back court, and all other 8 players are down here. Person in the brown hat, what's your name?
Pete.
Pete?
Pete.
Okay, so Pete? Pete, so, sorry. Okay, so if I'm the trail and I have a one-on-one in the back court, are you going to be in spot 1, 2, or 3?
I'm sorry, I missed that. If you're,
All 8 players are down here, the ball's going this way, so we just had a basket. I have 2 and 2 in the back court. So are you going to hang back at the free throw line and see what's going on with me? Are you going to go to half court? Are you going to go to the 28-foot line? Are you going to go to free throw line extended?
being 3, just to make sure that I've got them in my vision, if there's a fast break or still a ball, or they have to get a little rough with each other.
Okay, so for me, since we're working together tonight, if there's only 2 players back here, I'm gonna let you have those. So I'm gonna start off down here, just so you know, okay? But that tells me, since Peyton, is that correct?
Yep.
since Peyton's going to stay back and help me out with these two players, then I'm going to have to work really hard if the ball comes over here to his sideline. Because we've left one official down here with 8 players. Okay? So the other question I like to ask, same thing, 2 players in the backcourt. And so somebody besides Peyton, is there anybody who starts off either at half court or at the 28-foot line, if there's only 2 players in the backcourt? Okay, some people up here, great. So my question to you is, where do you start off? Where do you Tim?
I'm going all the way down into my UC position to referee my primary matchup.
Jordan, where do you start off?
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Let's see, I can answer it.
Anybody go here?
Well, it might depend where the 8 players are.
Okay, if they're coming up this side of the court,
I'm probably gonna
you're over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coming
Yeah.
outside.
So, I mean, once again, it's just kind of some, let's think about what's happening. 2 players, 8 players. So if this person stops here at the 28-foot line, this is what I know. As soon as they come over half court, who's going to take it? C. I mean, that absolutely is their area, and they're going to take it quick because they are ready, absolutely ready to pick up that play. What does that mean I have to do as T?
Hustle.
Hustle down.
Hustle down, because right now, this area is a humongous trouble area. Because the lead has already recognized that the C's gone up. The ball's coming over that side, they're thinking about a rotation. And if you have somebody who is not letting the T get into front court, and we have now 2 officials on this side, wow. I want to know that as your partner. So I try to ask that question a lot. For me. So tonight, we know what you guys are going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be closer to what Tim's doing. I'm going to be free throw line extended. And I will let it come across, and then I will come back and get it. So make sure you hang on to it. Now, if we have a trap, and it's the second time they put on that trap, I'm going to change. I'm probably going to do what Suzanne does and come up and be about the hatch mark. But start off in the initially, I'm going to go down free throw line extended. So the whole point of bringing up these questions is just so that you can open up a conversation and have something to talk about with partners. So my personal pregame, there's a couple of things that I need to make sure that I tell my partners. So last year I discovered that sometimes coaches make me angry. And sometimes players make me angry. And when those 2 things happen, I tend to get this mad look on my face. And I'm not mad. I'm really not mad at my partners. But I now say in my pregame, just so that you know, Jordan, if we're working together tonight, you see this look that looks really mad. I'm not mad at you. Just probably frustrated with the game. So don't take that personally. So I make sure I tell my partners that. I like to tell my partners what I need from them. Okay, so I know that I need a couple things. If we have a technical foul, Jordan, tonight, this is what I need from you. I need you to get in front of me and just ask me what I have. Because I need to just verbalize it, get it out, and let you know what I have. And even though I might be able to handle it myself, I just need to get it off my chest. And then what I need from you is I need you to point me to the right end of the gym. And then we'll be good to go. 5th foul. If it's a no-brainer, I'm going to take it to the table, and I'm going to turn around, and I'll tell the player 5, I'll tell you 5, and I won't be moving my feet. If it's a 5th foul, Jordan, and I'm coming towards you, and you see me walking, I'm saying, Jordan, that's a 5th foul, that means I need you to go take it to the table because I am done with them over there. We might have a technical foul if I go over there and work this foul. So I need your help on that one also. Okay, out of bounds. The other thing that goes into pre-games is stuff that you go, this is never, ever, ever going to happen to me again. Out of bounds is a big one for me because I've had a lot of bad out of bounds. So back in 2-person days, working a game up at Inglemore with a fellow official, and he had an out of bounds on the baseline, so this is 2-person, so he's over here, the ball goes here. I got a great look at it, it bounced off the little person down there. And being a great partner, what did I do? Tweet, ran in, said he had a tip, and so he changed it. He wasn't very happy about it. It was not the most comfortable game from then on. And afterwards, he told me, don't ever come in and give me any information. Well, that's good to know. How do I know if you want information or not? So now in my pregame, that's one of the things I ask. Do you have information? Do you want it? And some people say yes, and some people say no, and that's their own personal philosophy, okay? So, another game, a couple of years later, working down at a cow, and I'm with two people that have a lot more experience than me, and I've got a pretty easy backcourt out of bounds. I mean, I think it's pretty easy backcourt out of bounds. And my partner comes running over and puts his arm around me and says, we really need to change that to blue. And I go, but it went off blue. We really need to change it so the blue gets the ball. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, I know I have the call right? And he looks at me and he goes, if you don't change your call, you see Julie down there? She's going to run the whole length of the court. We're going to change the call. So what did I do? I changed the call. And I thought, well, it's not really working for me. So then, I have another game. This one's on TV. Big game, wow game, lots of people in the stands. And I got this out of bounds call on the baseline. So I blow my whistle, strung out of bounds, blue ball, and I'm pretty sure I got it wrong, right? So what are you supposed to do? Ask for help, right? So I look out, take 3 steps, and I say, partner! And when I look out, all I can see is the mouth going up and down. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know what that is. So I say, partner! And I get the mouth again. So by the 3rd time I said partner, I realized, well, I must have the right call. They're not coming to me, they're not giving me information, so we're just going to stay with blue. I said blue and we played on. We get in an after game and I said, so, Mary, you remember the time that out of bounds I had and I was asking you for help? What did you have? Oh, I had it the other way. And I thought, well, holy criminy, this is terrible. I cannot get these out of bounds calls right. I mean, it's pretty simple. So if we are working together, here's how my out of bounds goes. So tonight, Scott, we're working together, and if I have an out of bounds, it will be blue point, blue point. I don't want any help with those. If I go blue, and the point looks different, that means I'm not sure, and I want help with that. Okay? So here's the thing. If the coach or I have any question, I'm always going to ask. So if I go blue point, and he goes, I will always go partner and see if you have anything. And if you have something different, let me know. Now if I go blue point, and you think I got it wrong, and I'm not looking for help, and you decide to come in and give me some information, don't worry, because you will not have to get any farther than this, and you will see me on the baseline. Go, thank you, partner. White ball. Because I don't think it's about a big discussion. I already just told you that if I do it confidently, you better really want to change my call. The only reason you would be coming in is because you want me to change the call. We're not going to have a big discussion. You feel that strongly, we're going to change it. Now, if we have the one, hang on, we haven't finished yet. This is all my pregame. We still got one more. So the other one we got is I go blue. And I know as soon as I say that I absolutely have this wrong. Wrong color came out of my mouth. You know what? There was that little quick hit right before it went out, and I should have it different. Don't need a whole lot of help, except, Scott, I'm going to look out at you, and I'm going to go, Scott, thank you! White ball! And I just need you to nod on that one, because I already know I got it wrong. Okay, so I have that pregame a lot. So a couple of years ago, long before my retirement, I had some friends. They were in a hotel room, and I happened to be on TV that day, and I had an out of bounds. And what happens? I went, blue ball! And my partner has something different, right? So they start to run in, and they get about 3 steps in, and I go, thank you, partner! White ball! And my friend was sitting there in the hotel room, and the other person goes, did you just see that? He goes, yeah. He goes, but she had it right. Yeah, you obviously haven't been in her pregame. She talks about that one. If you come in, she's changing her call. So, right, wrong, or indifferent, that is just how I handle pregame, or I handle out of bounds. And we can always have a discussion about it, and you wanted to ask a question, Scott. So
I didn't know why the referee asked you to change that to blue when you knew it was not blue. What was there? Did you ask about it later?
No. I mean, I got to tell you, it was years and years ago. The 2 people I were working with had a lot of games in the Pac-10, and I had less than a handful. And I don't remember I can't even remember what they said. I just remember so clearly that I was changing my call. Whether I wanted to or not, I was changing my call. And there are some officials that are like that. I may have had the discussion, I just don't remember what it was. That's not the part that sticks with me. So anyway, my whole point is that because I've had these experiences of bad things happening on out of bounds, I spent some time in my pregame talking about out of bounds and how I want to handle a bunch of different scenarios. Right, wrong, or different. I'm not saying that's the best way. I'm just saying if you have stuff happen in your games, put it in your pregame. That's what really the pregame is for, is to put those type of things in there. Okay, on court during the game. I like to try to check in with my partners. I told you that in my pre-games I talked about what we're going to do in the post, what we're going to do as far as hand checking goes, and I want to make sure we try to check in with each other during the game and see, hey, are we on the same page? You know, are you okay with what I'm calling? Do you think you make the same call? And I like to utilize timeouts. I think timeouts are underutilized a lot of times. It gives us an opportunity as partners to get together and chat about something if we need to chat about something. Also, you know, in transition, it is amazing. If you look for opportunities to communicate, there are some great opportunities to communicate. When you look across the court just to see where your partner is, and you get that quick eye contact and you give them a nod, it is unbelievable, especially if you are working with an official that has less experience than you. If you give them a nod, it just acknowledges the fact that everything is going good and builds some confidence and helps everybody just have a little bit better game. So a couple places that I always try to engage my partners is out of bounds. I try to always look for both partners and get their eyes if they will give them to me. I mean, sometimes they are focusing on their stuff and they're not going to give it to me. Free throws, try to make sure I engage both partners, look at them, sometimes give them a smile, sometimes give them a nod. I think the free throw line is a great place to utilize having the conversation. I might say, Drew, I've got 14 and 24 over here, can you take the rest of them for me? And I've made a pretty loud message that we're watching these two guys because I've got a problem with it. But I think you can utilize some areas in the game to have some communication, get yourselves on the same page, make sure that you're working together. Post-game, how many people here try to have post-games? Successfully? Did you find that that's a pretty successful thing?
At times.
At times.
Not always.
Yeah. So one of the biggest thing that I have seen in post games is people come in and ask what I call the wrong questions. So Suzanne, that mock charge that you had with 3 minutes to go, what do you think about that? What am I telling her? I think I'm telling her I don't like the call, and you know what, you better defend it to me. And so you have to be very careful with how you ask questions. So just think about the question that you ask. You know, if I want to know about that charge block, I would much rather say, hey Suzanne, I had a charge in the first half, and you had that block in the second half. Did you feel those were similar calls, or were they different? And then Suzanne has the opportunity to say, you know, I didn't think they were similar because of whatever reason. But ask a question that invites conversation instead of a question that invites defending a call. When the game goes south, everybody has gone south on the court. It is not one person. The person that made the call might have started the ball rolling down the hill, but usually nobody else jumps in there to stop it. And most of the time is because we don't have the ability to communicate in a way to stop the ball rolling down the hill. It just becomes this big, huge mess. That's the stuff that we want to talk about in the post game. And one of the things I might ask if we have a mess is I might say, Greg, what could I have done? You know, you had that charge block, you took a bunch of heat from the coach, and we seemed to really kind of go downhill in our game after that. What could I have done to help that situation out? I mean, would you have wanted me to come over and talk to the coach? And he might say, no, you know, that was my business to take care of. But if you can ask how you could have been a force for good for them, you know, how could I have been a better partner? I don't think anybody's going to feel threatened if you ask them, how could I have been a better partner in this situation? So when you do a post-game, talk about unusual situations, but be careful about how you bring them up. I think rules questions they should be no-brainers. Had a game last year, and with two partners. Now, it's my first year back after 6 years, so I am a little rusty on the rules. I will be the first to admit that. And my partner has got a double foul in the post. And you know, it was a good call. It needed to be called. But we ended up putting the ball in play at half court. And I didn't think that was right. And I think we reset the shot clock too, I don't remember. Anyway, but I didn't think that was right. And I didn't, I went to my partners, I was like, are you sure? And they said, yeah. And so then we go back after the game and shower, and I'm in my locker room looking it up. And so I bring forward, I said, hey, you know that double foul that we called? Well, you didn't do it right. And quite frankly, my partners didn't want to hear about it, but I think it's my responsibility, if I want to be a great referee, to look up the rule and to share that information. Had another one where it was a game that was using a media format, and we had a called timeout, and the team that called it wanted to shorten it. Same thing, wasn't real clear, and I went to my partner, hey, I think they can shorten this timeout. Oh, no, they can't, media format. Went to my rule book, emailed him the next day and said, just so you know, I looked it up, they could have shortened that. The calling team came out, if they were ready to play, and we asked them, are you ready to play? We could have shortened that timeout. So be proactive on the rules, even if your partners don't want to look them up or see what the rule is. Be very proactive yourself, jot them down after your game and to remind yourself what rules you want to double check and look up. I think it is well worth asking the crew. How do you guys think we did as far as consistency goes? If you know, and this happens to me a lot, if I know I've had 10 hand checking calls and you had none, then I need to say, I noticed I had a whole lot more hand checking calls than you did. Was I seeing something different? What were you seeing when the ball handler was coming up? And it might be that, we have different philosophies, but I'm a big believer in ringing the bell. My job is to ring the bell. So if you and I are working together, and I say, I don't know if you noticed this, but I had 10 hand checking calls and you didn't have any. Did you, tell me what you were seeing, because I might have been seeing something different. So what are you thinking if that's the question I've asked you?
First thing I'm thinking is, I wish we had talked about it earlier, but the second thing I'm thinking is that we weren't on the same page.
So we're not on the same page, so let's go one step further. We're not on the same page. What would you want to do different next time?
Well, make sure one of us is modifying our behavior. So
How would you do that?
bring it.
Okay, but it's too late. You're already halfway through the game. I'm a new partner. I've now had 5 hand checking fouls and you've had 0, and you recognize it. What do you want to do different?
Well, we can get together with the crew and decide if we're going to call it your way or my way, but make sure that we're doing one way, not
Okay.
two.
So by me asking the question, and leading him down the path a little bit, but by me asking the question, he had to think about, next time I'm in this situation, what do I want to do different? What do I want to do different so my partner doesn't have 10 and I have 0? It might be getting together and talking to my partner and saying, hey, I don't know what you're seeing, but you need to back off a little bit because I can't make that call, or maybe I need to, call it tighter. Doesn't matter. But by bringing it up, sometimes what you do with your partners is you help them go to the next step of thinking about their game and trying to decide what they want to do different next time so they don't have that same thing occur. So as officials, sometimes our job is just to ring the bell. So then I have my post game for myself. Big one I go through a lot is unusual situations and how could I have handled it different. Elmert observes in this association, and he has been a great mentor for me. The first time I met him, I was at a jamboree just doing women's basketball, and he was one of the officials, and they had sent 3 officials out, so Al being old decided he was just going to sit in the stands. And me being a little young puck was really nervous, so after my first quarter of refereeing, I sat next to him and I said, I waited till it was like almost time for me to go back out on the court, and I said, Mr. Murch, I said, would you mind taking a look at me refereeing and giving me 3 things to work on? He goes, oh, yeah, sure. So I go out and I work my game, and I come back after that quarter and I sit down next to him again, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and it's just about time for me to go back on. And I said, Mr. Murch, did you have a chance to think of 3 things that I need to work on? And he said, I'm still trying to figure out which 3 are most important. So use the people that you have. But anyway, that kind of started a relationship where he gave me some good advice. So I have a game at WSU, and it's in the auxiliary gym. There's probably 10 people in this gym. I mean, there's nobody there. They're playing an international team, and those teams are the hardest. I'm working with a gal that I have worked a ton with, very good friend of mine. I am the lead, she is the T. She calls some sort of foul, the international gal is not happy. and she slams the ball to the ground. And it goes way up into the air. My partner watches it go way up in the air and come all the way back down, and we have nothing. And I will tell you, the game deteriorated after that. And so that was an unusual play. And my question was, how could I have handled that different? I didn't give a technical foul because I have a lot of respect for that person. That person's my friend. If she didn't want to call a technical foul, who was I to come over here and get one on top of her? You know, like I said, we've grown up together. It's not that I didn't think she couldn't call it. There was some reason she didn't call it, and I don't know what that is. But the game just went to a mess. So I went to Al and I said, so Al, you know, what should I have done? And he taught me the secret of the power of a great question. And he said, next time you go up to your friend and you say, are you going to call a technical foul or do you want me to do it? And I thought, wow, I wish I could have thought of that. And so I have a call this summer. I'm at camp, and I got the call this summer, and it is just a very bad. I had just played the play, should never have made the foul call. And you know, you got your hands up, the whistle's gone, and you're like, what should I do? How could I have gotten out of this? And somebody gave you another good statement this time. Tell the lead, partner, it's blue ball. And I thought, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. So anyway, when I have unusual situations, I really try to think of, you know, what could I have done different that maybe would have got us out of this unusual situation or made it better. So a lot of times I think we are guilty of saying, it's not my problem, it's not my fault, that was my partner's bad call. You know, the coach went nuts because I got to work with so-and-so and they're terrible. Here's the deal. You are only as successful as you want to be. You can't control your partners. You can't control what games you get, but you can control how you react to your partners and how you act with them. And you can choose to make them better or make them worse. And I'm not talking about babysitting. I'm talking about how can you be a good support staff. Question?
Well, and the question of calling the technical foul also brings up another pregame, which is calling things in your partner's primary area. He might be looking over here as soon as something happens, but then you get an elbow up to the side. And some partners are really touchy about that. Stay out of my primary.
Okay.
Others
So
say,
we're working together. Here's my philosophy. I'll share it with you.
others will say, call it if you see it.
Okay, here's my philosophy. We're working together tonight. So I'm going to take care of my primary area. However, you see that top bleacher up there? If the guy sitting up there goes, oh my God, somebody should have called something, please come and get that. Okay? But if it's not that, I'm going to ask you to be hesitant to help me. Give me a chance to really look at the play. But if it's something that everybody in the gym goes, oh my God, somebody should have got that, I want somebody to get that one. So my personal philosophy is if we are doing a great job of taking care of our own stuff, we're probably pretty busy and too busy to worry about whether my partner is calling something or not. I don't know how much film you guys have watched, but there's a lot of times that I think my partner might not have had the right call. Craig, see how you last spring, yes, it was the right call. I haven't had a chance to tell you that. But you know, you go back and you look it up, you look at the tape, and you go, yeah, they did have the right call. They saw something I didn't. They had a different angle than me. So I think as officials, sometimes we are quick to judge other people's call instead of saying, you know what, they're right. They're my partner and they're right tonight. And I'm going to do everything that I can to help them. And you know what, we all know when we kick a call. And sometimes we need to hear that, hey, don't match that one, you know, that just, you know, that was terrible. Ooh, I wish I had that one back. We can all say that. But I think that we need to give our partners the benefit of the doubt. And I think if you give people, I believe in you, and I think you have the right call, and I trust your judgment, you will have a better game. A lot of that is just internal in your partner feeling that. You can feel when somebody wishes that you weren't their partner on the game. There's nothing worse. Suzanne?
I think challenging your partner too, as far as like me, I'll say, especially since I'm a veteran official, you know, the coaches will be a little bit better with me because they know me. But maybe they're chirping at my partner and I can see that it's affecting their behavior. I'll say, either you take care of it or I'll have to. Mm-hmm. So I give that partner the first opportunity, and they know that I'm there so that, you know, nothing's going to happen if I go in there and key this coach. So I think it's good to not as a veteran official go and take over the game, but challenge your partner and say, okay, he's on you, you take care of it. everything's gonna be fine, you know, I'll be there, you know, reassure them that everything's gonna be good and that if you need any help, I'll be there to help you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And everybody in this room is going to get to that point sometime when you have more experience than your partner, and you have to get as much out of them as you can. So, last but not least, one thing I did bring is I brought a copy of what I use as a pregame. I asked Julie Bonnie to help me out with this, and she helped me put the high school differences over here on the side. Okay. This is mine, so that means that it's not perfect. So if you find a mistake, you know, it's a work in progress. You will notice when I pass this out that there's like a whole lot of writing. It is 3 pages long, okay? And I do this pregame each year for myself. I don't really do this for my partners, I do this for myself. On the very back page, this is Julie's pregame for when she does a high school game. So I've got 2 different ones here. You will notice in this pregame that it goes through all sorts of stuff that you might think is, well, why don't you write all this stuff down? People have to go to games. Mike, can you tell me what timeline do we have here?
1 o'clock, is it?
20 more minutes.
20 more minutes, okay. Why don't we pass these out then? And we'll go through a couple of them, just so that you see some things that I have written down. How many people here have their own pregame written out? Mike? Oh, good. So everybody's is different. Like I said, they have most of the stuff that I have in here is because something has happened. So first thing I want to know when I walk into a gym, do we have a monitor, yes or no? Do we have media, yes or no? Do we have media format, yes or no? So then, these are mostly reminders to myself. 15 minutes is when we're going to go out on the court. Like I said, the more geared towards the college game, but a pregame is a pregame. I like to remind myself what the U1 is going to do. They're going to have the home, they're going to chop the clock, they're going to be tableside when we go out there. I like to remind our partners we're going to be uniform police, so early in the season especially, make sure we only have 1 logo on socks. We'll talk about headbands and armbands. Undershirts have to be the same color as the main color of the jersey for us. Compression pants are okay as long as they're the same color as the body of the jersey. I'm going to get my captains at 14:30. 12:30 I'm going to go to the book. At 10 minutes, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not yet because we have a new rule, but the Jackets are going to leave the floor this year and one of the officials must stay. And at 1:30 I want to go over and talk to the coaches. So I kind of like to have a little countdown as to what we're going to do as officials so everybody's kind of on the same page and expecting it. I like to talk about the bench. Who knows any history with this bench? What's the coach like? You've been to this gym. What does the shot clock sound like? If you go, wow, we've never been to this gym before, I'm going to ask, that tells me I need the timer to run that down so that we can all hear it and know what it sounds like. Teams, general information. What kind of offense do they run? What kind of defense do they run? There's this offense that I think is just so hard to officiate.
Oh, God.
You guys ever seen this thing?
Yeah.
The 1-4? I hate this thing. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I'm used to it more now, but I really don't like it. If they're running this, I want to know if they run a flex, and we tend to have bad screens down over on the side. You've seen that before. I had this team 2 weeks ago, and the number 3 will fire it up from any place. You know, he's their shooter. Let's keep an eye on him. Hey, big guy from Lake Washington, not real mobile. You know, in this league, he's not real mobile and can be kind of clumsy. Let's make sure that he is playing good defense and good offense, and we're not giving him an advantage for his size. So those are some things that I'm going to talk about. Coaches, I mean, is this coach one that's going to chirp at us every time down the floor? Is he pretty quiet and should probably listen if he does say something? You know, what do you know about the coaches? I'm going to go over the new rules and what they are for this year. Okay, jump ball. I don't call my own back. So if it's crappy, it's your guys' job to call it back tonight. U1, whoever's going to be my U1, can you double check, make sure the benches are, help me with the benches. Okay, I'm not going to throw it up. I'm going to double check the benches, but I need you to make sure that they're down and that nobody but the head coach is up. Okay, so the U1's got the 2 jumpers, a bad toss, and the start signal. The U2's got the non-jumpers. So tonight, let's make sure that they are either 3 feet behind the person they're defending, side to side, but they don't have their legs hooked. Okay, that's going to be my U2's job. Let's all double check the arrow. If there's a question, let's get together, first dead ball, and make sure that we make sure. If we've got a violation off the jump ball, let's make sure that it's a good violation and not one that maybe we're the only ones that saw it. Let's be aware of a quick over and back and not get surprised by, they're in their front court, they got confused, step back in their back court, we should have an over and back. If we have something really unusual, as the tosser, I'm going to hold, and I'm going to let you two figure it out, and then I will fill whatever spot that I need to fill. Court coverage, I like to talk about going into the gray area, picking it up aggressively, only leaving it if you're sure your partner has it. Tee to lead. I don't like the tee going to the paint hard if it drops down into that lead area. We're going to work the areas of intersection hard. So all these things are things I'm going to bring out, but there's going to be a discussion. I don't just like blast through all these things. You would have kind of a conversation about them. So as you'll notice, it goes through everything that could happen into the game until the end when I remind myself not to be so serious and have fun. But the point of giving you this is to give you some thoughts to think about. If you have questions or don't understand something, feel free to ask me or email me. Any questions about pregame or postgame? Well, that's all I've got. Tim, do you have anything you want to close with before we?
Just some administrative stuff.
Okay.
Let's open it up to Q&A and see if people have some questions for you.
Michelle, I was going to ask you, were talking about early on if your partner is thick-headed and doesn't worry about the coach, and you're not, how would you deal with your partner on that?
Well, so let's say you're the thick-headed person. I need to let you know, Drew, that I have very thin skin. And so if he is yelling at you, although it might not be bothering you, even though it might not be bothering you, if it's bothering me, I'm going to give him a technical foul. So I understand that he might be there, John at you, and you're okay. But if it's breaking my concentration and I can't referee, you're going to hear the whistle, and I'm going to give a technical foul. And it's nothing to do with your judgment. It's just that it's breaking my concentration, and I need to take care of that. So I want my partner to know that I understand and honor where they're coming from. I might not agree with it, but I understand and honor it, but I also have to honor myself. And myself says that if that coach complaining to you is taking me out of my game, then I need to take care of it for myself. So this isn't about you and what you can take. This is about me and me losing my conversation, my concentration. So I would tell my partner that. And then, like I said, would probably let the coach trip pretty hard on them, but if it was breaking my concentration, I would do it. Yes?
I had a partner say to me one time, we have to deal with this coach. He's encouraging poor sportsmanship in his players, and we're here for the players.
I'll be right there with you.
And that brought me around going, yeah, I do have to pay attention to what the coach is saying to me. I can't just blow him off. So that really helped to...
Be careful with people that, I mean, nothing bothers me more personally than, we need to take care of hand checking tonight. And then they're not calling hand checking fouls. I mean, I've had 4 and they've had 0. So I am always very careful with, we need to clean up the post. Great, I'll be right there with you. Not that I'm not going to clean it up, but I always like my partner to know that you telling me that we need to do this does not mean I'm going to do it. It means that we need to do it and we're both going to take responsibility. So, or you might ask them, what do you want to change? So we've been letting them lean all over, or we're going to now call that a foul. So, but yeah, I mean, great questions to a partner during the game is a way to get people thinking and maybe making different decisions. I'm a big believer in good questions.
So Michelle, actually maybe it's a little comment within the question for you to comment. When you have a pregame and you kind of go through your game, things kind of get off kilter, how would you get the group back to what you talked about in the pregame? I mean, maybe talk about things the post mentioned earlier, thought it's not done, you have a timeout, or you have a halftime, you have to go back and recheck pregame.
So tell me, off kilter, is it that the game's going south, like it's gotten way too physical? Off kilter, I'm calling everything, you're calling nothing, or off kilter, you're calling everything that I'm not going to call, which...
Well, okay, when I say off kilter, the stuff that you talked about in pregame,
Okay.
And you agreed to?
Okay, well, first of all, that's not what I do. I
Okay.
ask questions because,
Okay.
because here's what I found about pre-games is that if I tell you what we're gonna do tonight, you're not gonna do that. Because you're gonna do what is comfortable for you. So my job is not to tell you what to do. My job is to find out where are you gonna stand on this press? How are you going to cover, as the lead, when we have a 1-4 and the ball is up here at the top, are you, and you came down the side, are you going to be out here at wide angle? Are you going to be at close down? Where are you going to stand on this play? Mike?
And it's okay to disagree among the officials. Like, I may call it differently, you just need to know that, right?
Calling hand checks? Is that what
No,
you're
no, no,
talking
I'm
about?
saying, let's say you talk about a certain play and you think you're going to call a play, let's say, or set up a certain way, and I may set up differently. It's
Right.
not one is right over the other. It's letting the other person.
So I ask questions. Actually, it kind of drives into the point of why I ask questions instead of telling people how we're going to do it. I ask questions so that I know what to do to make our crew successful. If you as a lead set up over here, then this means that our rotation is going to happen much more slowly. If everybody comes over to this side. So as C, that means I have to work my fanny off over there because I'm going to be stuck with a lot. I have to see where people started and I have to see where they're coming from. If this is B as the T, same thing. Okay? The lead is way out of position if they start to work on this side of the court. They have to come all the way to close down and then they have to come strong side. And you know what? I'm sorry, they're not a whole lot of help. So you know what? You can stand wherever you want. And the reason I'm asking is because I need to know what I need to do in these two positions. Okay? If you are helping me with these two people, and they come over to this side of the court, and you're one of the people that stands here, I'm going to be putting a lot more attention down the court. Because, you know what we don't have? We don't have anybody covering the post getting blasted at the top of the key. That's what we don't have. So when I don't have situations where people aren't doing what I expect them to do because I try to ask them what they're doing. And you know, the tough thing is some people just don't know. They haven't worked on their game, they haven't thought about it, they don't really know what they're going to do. So in those situations, I spend the first 5 minutes trying to figure out where my partner is going to be and where I need to be so that we can be a good crew. So early in my career, I started two-person, and it was much tougher back than to be a two-person. And I worked with a lot of young officials. I mean, it just was the situation I was put in. My career was dependent on how well I refereed the game. So I'm refereeing a game with a brand new person, and if things go south, I mean, I'm the experienced person out there. And one of my boss in the Pac-10 called me up and said, so what happened in the game? So I tell him what happened in the game, and my partner made the wrong foul call or something, and I was young and thought it was their call, what was I supposed to do? And he said something to me that really stuck with me. He said, and what did you do to fix it? What did you do to be a force for good? What did you do to help the situation versus hinder the situation? And I realized that I was responsible for everything in my career. And everything in my career means that I'm responsible with how I react to my partners. My job is to make sure that we are the most successful crew out here tonight. And if you don't have the experience to know that that contact in the foul is a post, that's my job to call it. It's also my job, if I truly want to be a leader, to say, Drew, you remember the call with 3 minutes to go where the guys were banging? What did you see on that one? Because I blew my whistle on that. And you go, well, I was watching it, but I just wasn't sure. I put a whistle on it because I felt that was enough. And if I didn't call the foul, it was going to get worse and we would have much rougher play in 3 minutes. So my job is also to teach and explain why I might poach, why I might go into somebody's area, why I would make that call, to acknowledge it and not make the other person feel bad, to let them know, hey, I made that call because this is what I was thinking. So I'm doing a game. This time I'm with a really good friend of mine again, and a newbie. Okay, so this person probably has, I don't know, not very many games, not very many collegiate games underneath their belt. They're a pretty good referee. And we have two teams and they are just starting to bang the holy heck out of each other, right? And it becomes very apparent that we need to get this thing under control. We need to get it under control right now. And we don't have a timeout. I mean, it just was two trips up and down the court. The third trip, wow, we need to fix this. And so I banged, tweet, tweet, got 3 calls in a row. And then my partner realizes, whoa, you know what, something's changed here. So you don't always have to get together. You know, if everything's been going fine and all of a sudden I have 5 fouls in a row in 30 seconds, I think that should be a clue that something has changed. I mean, she's calling a whole lot more fouls than she was calling 5 minutes ago. So anyway, I have about 5 fouls in a row, and my partner that I've worked with a lot clues in, and now she's got 3 or 4 fouls in a row. So now we've gone through not a very long period of time and had quite a few fouls. Finally, we get a timeout, and the newbie on the court runs up and says, I see what you're doing, and I understand, but I just haven't been able to join in. You know, that was great because she understood the nonverbal communication. She realized that something changed out there. So sometimes as partners, your job is also to be engaged enough to know if your partners are changing something. You know, that contact in the post was not a foul last quarter. Why is it a foul this quarter? So, does that answer your question at all?
Perfect. Michelle?
Yes.
Just a comment you can elaborate on, but when you're having a post-game discussion, I think it's important for partners to be honest and not just defend what you did. So if you screwed up a call, admit it to your partners in the locker room, and you can have a discussion about it. But if you know, everybody at the gym knows you screwed it up, admit it.
You know, post games are personal, and you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So if you want to defend your call, that is your choice, but you're not going to learn anything. If you are willing to hear what somebody else has to say, I talked about ringing the bell. You don't have to agree with them, but I think it's well worth thinking about. One of my biggest frustrations in watching young officials get better is that they go to camp and they have 2 or 3 years in, and well-intended evaluators tell them all the fouls they shouldn't be calling and don't really give them the reason why. And so now we have a lot of officials running around knowing that they shouldn't call the foul on the kid that makes the basket as he drove in, even though he got clobbered to the floor because the ball went in. You know, they didn't really explain that if there's minimal contact and it didn't throw them off balance, and this isn't an intense game where they're killing each other, well, yeah, we can let that one go. But just because it goes in doesn't mean we don't have any fouls. So sometimes, you know, you have to be careful with what you say, what you hear. For each of you personally, if you want to improve your game, you might think you're right, and listen to what they have to say, take it with a grain of salt, think about it yourself, go over the play, and then ask other people's opinion, okay? I mean, I always like to get a consensus of what would you have done. I watched her play, I mean, this was really an interesting play. So it's 2-on-1 in the back court, and all other 7 players are down here, and the C is at half court, and the trail is back here, and there is a absolutely brutal screen that occurs right here. And in reviewing it, it should have been a foul on this person setting the screen because they didn't give him time and distance. But it was really, really a long ways for that person to come. And the interesting thing about this clip is not that that should have been called, but for me, would I have had the courage from half court to call that foul way back there when my partner who's on the play worked 3 final championship games in conferences last year? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would have had the courage. Now, where could I have been to have the courage? What would I have liked to think about? I mean, once again, I want to be successful if this ever happens to me. Now I'm thinking about, if there's 2 offensive players in the backcourt and 1 defensive player, I think that this is not a good place to be anymore. Because why is that other offensive player back there? Either they're going to try to catch a pass, which is no problem, or they're going to be wanting to set a screen. And will my partner have a shot on getting that screen if they are so intent on the play on the ball? So anyway, I try to take plays and think about, you know, what would I do, or how could I improve, or what would be different. I'm not a big right and wrong person. Like I said, I don't think there's a lot of value in you saying I'm right and I'm saying I'm wrong. We'll talk about plays. I'm going to listen to what you have to say. You have a perception, and it's my job now to think about them and say, would I change it or not? 30-year official. I have a foul call, or no, I stopped the game because I have two bodies in the key on the floor, and the ball's been shot, so it is in the air. And this was long before the possession arrow, so any two players can now jump in the circle. And my partner got all over me about how I'll never make that call. And to this day, I've gone over that millions of times. To this day, I would still stop it because where they were and where the rebounders were jumping from, I really felt that there was huge potential for injury. So, we can disagree for the rest of our lives. It's my job to decide what I want to do with that. Do I want to take your opinion and put it in my bag and carry it around? Or do I want to say, you're entitled to your opinion, I've reviewed it, I'm good with that call. So I think it's really a personal thing. If you have to outbite people, I don't waste my time.
Thanks, Michelle.